Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this second episode of our webinars where we have Diksha Lalwani here, who's looking fabulous in shawls while the rest of the country is dealing with rains and heat.
No, there's rain here also.
So, for those who don't know Diksha, I don't know, she is a very well known yoga and meditation master. She's from Shivananda School of Yoga, Uttarakashi in Kerala. And recently she made the big move from a city from spending a lot of time in Bombay. She's recently moved to Dharamkot, where she's now teaching yoga online as well as to the local practitioners. How has that move been?
I have days when I feel really scared. I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I've taken such a massive step in my life, like left my comfort to the city, but it just feels right. It just feels like this was it. Like there was when I came back to the city after the mountains, I just knew that I couldn't live in a city anymore. It was not a yes or a no. It was just the truth then, and I couldn't avoid it. I couldn't avoid the truth anymore. And so I said, I need to leave Bombay. Like, well, I'm done with it for now.
I think that resonates with a lot of people. Last 1 year has been very difficult emotionally, physically, financially, in different ways for a lot of us.
Different ways, yeah. For everyone, the experience of the pandemic has been different on different levels. For some it's financial, for some it's emotional, for some it's existential. Yeah.
So, that is why we're here, because a lot of people have a lot of questions for you. But I think before we get into the questions, I think it would be great if we can just start with a meditation so that we can set the tone for this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. So, should I make my thing gallery view or yeah, okay. Oh, anyways, everybody's
Everybody
camera
else.
is shut, is it? Yeah, but we can do the meditation now. So, I'll just put the mic for the meditation. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
I think the voice will be clearer. Anyways, it'll just be me. It'll be a more like a one-way communication anyway. So I don't need to hear you, right, Jyoti?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I'm putting the mic then. Okay, so hopefully everybody is a meditator already. You might already have your own comfortable positions to sit in. You can either sit cross-legged or you can sit on a chair, wherever you feel comfortable. If you have a meditation cushion that you like to sit on, and then just get really comfortable with the way your posture is, so that we can get the posture out of our mind, and then we can really get into the meditation then. And even your palms, if you want to let them be facing up or be facing down. If you want to hold any mudra or you practice holding mudras, you can do that. Or if you want to just be really relaxed in your palms and you don't want to hold any mudra and just let the palms be in the center is also fine. But primarily what I want you guys to do now is to really relax your arms and shoulders, because that's where we don't realize a lot of tension lies. Just let go of your shoulders and start closing your eyes. And then just become really relaxed in your whole body. Allow your palms to melt. And allow your hips to melt. And I want you to send all your awareness into your lower back. And relax the lower back.
I think we have lost Diksha there. Let me just get this checked.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah, actually, there was a little disconnection, so I had to come back. Yeah. So we'll continue the meditation. If you are still there, just keep your eyes closed and allow yourself to relax again. Go back into your meditation. If you got distracted, and then melt your lower back, sink your tailbone and lower back. And then pay attention to your chest. If you can bring all your attention and awareness into the center of your chest. And see if you can feel your breath in your chest. If you can feel the movement of the breath in your belly and chest. And then bring your awareness into your jaw. Melt the jaw and release tension from the jaw. You can feel your hips sinking more and more. Your spine becoming softer, more relaxed. Let go a little bit more in your arms and shoulders. Let go a little bit more in your forehead. If you can really loosen up the tension from your forehead and eyebrows. If you can bring your awareness now to the top of your head, the crown, the top of your skull, the top of your head melting. And just allow the silence to take over. Observing the silent spaces between the words. And not doing anything in this moment. So let go of your effort from the body. If you're still trying to do something, let go. Melt and relax the legs. Let go in your legs. Bring all your attention to your belly button. And feel the movement in the belly. And very slowly, you can start coming out of your meditation. Gently draw your palms together. Rubbing palms. And of your palms on your eyes.
The pandemic has brought its share of heartbreaks and a lot of bad news. But when I look at a session like this that we just did, it's beautiful. You are in the hills right now in Dharamkot, and from there you're actually guiding people all over India right now to actually feel and actually meditate. It's This is what we strive for. This is what we actually want to bring to people. This is what Think Right.me is all about. And masters like you actually help us with that. So today, everybody, we just decided to do a session where we will just ask you questions that we usually don't get the chance to. So Has, I would request you to open the chat window so that people can start posting their questions. And while that starts, I am going to start with what we have already received. So, Diksha, the first thing that I want to ask you, and this is from Jeevan, who's around 25 years old, says, is it necessary to do yoga before meditation? Essentially, is yoga a prerequisite for meditation, or can we do meditation without yoga or any other physical exercise? I think we have lost Diksha again. Suhas, can you please unmute Diksha? Diksha, I'm not sure if you got that question.
Yeah, shall I say it again? Yeah, it got disconnected and now I'm back.
Okay. Uh, so essentially, the first question was, is doing yoga before meditation necessary? Essentially, is yoga prerequisite for meditation, or can we practice meditation without yoga?
You can totally practice meditation without yoga. It is, of course, an added advantage if your body is, speaking. I was actually introduced, I started meditating before I started doing yoga. So, for me, meditation came before. And so I can see that it enhanced my experience of meditation.
Diksha, this is just a suggestion. I think because of the hills, there is some network fluctuation. Maybe we can try
Okay.
with the camera off because we are asking questions. Let's see if that works better.
Okay. Okay. I'm still there.
Yeah, see, I think everybody has
You can
realized
hear me?
much, much better. We can hear you, we can't see you, which is unfortunate, but at least we can hear whatever you're telling us. So if you can just tell us again about, how you practice yoga.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, say it again.
So the question was,
Do you want me to repeat the
yes, if you can just repeat what you said as the answer, because most of us missed that.
Yeah, so I was saying that from personally speaking, for me, meditation came before yoga came, yoga asanas came. So I know that it is possible that you can meditate and not do yoga. It is possible. But when I started doing yoga, it enhanced my experience of meditation.
Right.
It made my meditations more powerful because my body was open. So I was able to sit longer for meditation. I wasn't getting cramps and aches in my back because the yoga helped keep the body flexible and healthy like that. So yoga asanas are definitely they create a strong foundation for your meditation, stronger. But what happens is some people may might have, I believe that sometimes people have done some work in their previous births and they are very drawn to meditation already. So they don't really feel the need to go to yoga asanas to go to meditation. because their soul is now ready for the meditation. So that way, it's not a necessary or a important prerequisite for meditation.
Yes, I think it just works differently for different people. We have another question. This is actually from one of our senior citizens who's asking during which time of the day should yoga be performed for better results?
Morning.
So, I hear it from a lot of people that morning is the best time, but why do we always say that morning is the perfect time? Is it because we are fresh in our minds, or is it something to do with something more scientific?
It has both. There's both scientific and energetic because one, of course, that scientifically your body is detoxing the most in the morning. It's flushing out toxins between 7 to 9 a.m. and around that time when you wake up. After you wake up, your body is flushing, your body's metabolism is high. It is, and if you add to that detox process, which the body is already doing, then the detox is even better, and then energetically, the thing with morning is that, when there's sun, there is more energy in the being, in the environment, in the body. It's better to utilize that sun energy than trying to, because the environment is the most receptive when there's sun, when the sun is shining. And also, the thing with morning is that, especially in the cities, when people have so much going on in their lives with their work, children, and all of that, it's better to finish off a part of, a part of self-care, like meditation or breathing or yoga, whatever that is. It's better to start your day with it so that you create the right vibration for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. Because a lot of people get very confused. They want to understand the logic behind why should we start in the morning. I hope your questions are answered. Dr. Surendra, I think you've just joined. Diksha is having some network issues, so we'll be working with audio today. She's answering all the questions. So if you want to post a question, please do. The chat window is open right now. Um, Viral wants to know which is better, guided meditation or meditation by yourself?
Guided meditation or meditation by yourself. See, I know a lot of people who will not be able to sit in meditation by themselves. They prefer having someone's voice guide them into it, and then once they're in it, then they can sit. But that something in the background just aids them into their practice. Now, what happens is that the more you meditate, the less you need, the more you meditate, the more independent your soul becomes. And the less you need external situations and conditions to facilitate your meditation. So, what happens is that if you regularly meditate every day for the next 1 year or 2 years, I mean, then you're just going to be able to get into it so naturally. You wouldn't even take a minute to get into the zone of, just being yourself, and that'll be enough for you. So it really actually, then I would say that then it depends on the level of the practice the person has built with of dhyan and meditation. So the dedication that has gone in. Because I know a lot of like people who are busy in their corporate lives and their work in businesses, entrepreneurs, their minds are so active during the day that if they want to meditate, they need that voice to take them there.
Right. I guess it's different for different people. But Viral, I hope that answers your query. And of course, we have a lot of guided meditations on the app itself. And If you want to try meditating on your own, we have music also that you can follow while you practice your own meditation. So it's a process, as Diksha explained. Our next question is, it's actually very simple, but I think very tricky. How to start? How to start your yoga practice?
Yoga or meditation?
Yoga.
To start yoga, I think so there are a couple of things that one person should just do right away. If you think you are someone who can get a private teacher home, then call up a private teacher, get their number or whatever, work out a budget that works for you, because sometimes they can be expensive and you don't want to spend that much. So then find a teacher in your budget and get them to come home. And that's where, because once they're inside your house and they're knocking at your door, there's no way you can escape it. So you will do it. So if somebody is coming home to teach you, then it's a great way to start. I know so many students and clients who work really well with private sessions of yoga. And that keeps them very regular in the practice, the private yoga. Now, if you're someone who doesn't want to do private yoga, but you still want to start, things are opening up. There will be a yoga studio around your house, maybe 10 minutes away, 15-minute walk or something, which you can go to. But then if you feel like you're not someone who can commit to going to a studio, or you will be very irregular, then get someone to come home. Is the best way to start yoga immediately. Or otherwise, if you feel like you want to start with, see, the thing with online is that with online yoga, I mean, I can tell you, go to YouTube, take a video out of it, start practicing yoga. But online training and online way of education and knowledge is very internally motivated. So if you're not feeling motivated, you will not put your iPad on, you will not click on YouTube, you will not do it,
Diksha,
come home.
Diksha, we lost you again. Can you say something now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
That?
Yes, we can. We can.
Yeah. Where did you lose me?
Essentially about how you need to be self-motivated to be doing online classes. That's very important.
Yeah.
Motivation needs to come from within.
So yeah, if you're not feeling that motivated, then you won't click on the online classes. You won't click on YouTube. You won't do, or you won't open something. So if you want to start yoga immediately and you want to really get into it this year, this month, then get someone to come home and do it for you.
Right. I hope that helps you, Sanjeev. Another question is how to stay mindful during yoga and not turn it into an exercise. That's a good question. I mean, even I would like to understand. You need to be very mindful of how you're breathing, how your posture is, which doesn't mostly happen if you look at it as an exercise form. So, how do we do that?
Yeah, so a lot of this matters, a lot of this depends on the teacher, right? Because a lot of times people don't know how to bring yoga and spirituality together, or yoga and the essence of yoga together. So, one, of course, that the teacher must know how to connect the chord and bring them to a place where it be an exercise. Now, another thing, from the student or the seeker's perspective, from what can they do to strike that chord between yoga and the meditation and the realness of yoga, the realness of the lineage of yoga. For a student, I think it's important that one, they keep themselves open to reading books about yoga. That's one thing. That it's nice to have, your own base of knowledge. Because how else, or you go and do some course where you learn deeper about the work of yoga and the path of yoga. The other thing is that there are so many things in yoga that you can know why you're doing it. That, I mean, I can talk about it the whole session and it will not get over. But to just say a couple of things is, as you saw, your breathing. You know, there are moments of movement, there are more moments of pauses in the same class, and there is just a lot of observation of your breath that happens in a yoga class. And when you start observing your breath is when things start changing in your mind. The other thing about yoga not becoming just a fad or an exercise is to make sure that there is enough meditation time in the class, like in your practice. Because if you're just doing the asanas and carrying on with the rest of your day, then we're missing out the point. So ending your yoga with meditation, with even just a 5-minute guided meditation from the app, or just that some silent time spending with yourself after you finish your practice. That is also that is also a key to the path of yoga.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like your mindfulness and meditation, yoga, they always go hand in hand. Just need to find that
Yeah,
perfect spot for that. Uh,
yeah.
we have it's a question especially for you from Dr. Akhil Kumar Saxena. He says, according to me, yoga is your obligatory action. What does it mean to you?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
So essentially, what he's saying is that my version of yoga is all the actions that I take, how I react to things. That's yoga for me. How do you see yoga? Like, how does Diksha see yoga?
Okay. Yeah. So for me, yoga is dhyan. For me, yoga is meditation. For me, yoga is devotion. So it's for me, it's not so much as doing my asana and standing on my head or like turning myself upside down and all of that. Because that is of course beautiful and it's a mindfulness practice and it's a beautiful way to come back to yourself. But once you know how to be with yourself, that is when the real yoga starts. That is when things start coming up. The whole world suddenly feels like it's a mirror to your reality. You start becoming aware of that reality around you, the reality inside you, the problems inside you, the issues you have in your relationships, in your family, in your money, in your different aspects of your life. Everything becomes a mirror of who you are. That's the point yoga begins for me.
That's such a beautiful thought. That's actually like if we can follow that in our life, it make a huge difference.
Yeah, that it eventually leads me to my life and my reality. So when I meditate and I go in, and then it brings me out the same way, and then I'm like, oh, okay, so this is off. How let's fix it by meditating. I'm not going out and fixing something, like I'm not trying to fix something outside. I'm like, okay, this is the problem, let's meditate and fix it. Or let's meditate and get into it. Not even fix it, but just like get into it. Let's meditate and feel this. Let's meditate and or just spend time with myself and let's see where it takes me. And that process for me is yoga. That coming to self again and again and again is yoga for me.
So Diksha, how did that start? Like, I think all of us are very curious to know that how did your journey start? Meditation as well as yoga.
Yeah, so I used to be in film production, and then it was a very I was a very hard time for me because I was young, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I'd studied advertising and filmmaking, so I just got into it. I started working for a production house, and the timings in this industry are very bad. You know, you're working late till night, you're getting up very early in the morning, you're shooting all day in the sun, eating very bad food. So the lifestyle was just very depressing and it collapsed me. It collapsed me completely. I was completely down and out, like exhausted, consumed, and depressed. I had health issues, mental health issues. Nothing in my life was right or feeling right. Or just as I said, you know, every aspect of you is a mirror of your own reality. So every aspect of my life was a doom. And that's when I was like, I need to do something about it. Or I need to do, yeah. And that's when I went and learned some yoga in Kerala, and I did my teacher training course, and everything started from there.
It's such an inspiring story. I mean, from just being down and out and suffering from mental health issues yourself, you're actually helping people get out of it with your practice, with your guidance. It makes a huge difference in everybody's life at this point. So that's very
Yeah.
very, very inspiring. I
And,
hope
and
all.
you know, I must also admit something. I want to be really vulnerable and honest with you today, and also say that it's not like some low days or bad days don't come now, or you know, when the cloud of just darkness doesn't hover over my mind. It's just that now I know that if I'm feeling a certain way, and I know I can get out of it. Now I have the tools to keep myself strong through the tough days, you know?
Yes, that's what meditation does for you. It's a tool. It
Yeah,
will help you. It doesn't
yeah,
guarantee bad days won't come, but you will know how to handle them beautifully. Which
yeah, absolutely.
I think is related to the question that Vikas Singh has asked us. I think he had COVID. Yes, he did. After COVID-19 recovery, it's like facing complications. He's saying essentially the body vitals are fine, but there is a fear of unknown which has impacted the subconscious mind. So, how do I get rid of this anxiety of just the fear that something worse can
Yeah, so first of all, just knowing that you're not the only one who feels this. Everyone feels it in some way or the other. Everyone is scared of the unknown. Everyone feels like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How is this going to happen? What will happen with the future? So all that is very normal for a human mind and all human beings. So just admitting to yourself that yes, it's okay to feel like that. It's just it's just my limited self that's feeling like that. And I know that I have a higher self which can take me through this and it can help me think clearer than this. And knowing that right now I'm not feeling clear, but I can get clarity. And then going for the clarity, chasing the clarity through your spiritual practices, through your whatever that is, whatever your spiritual practices, coming back to it for that clarity. That is important because a lot of times we get so stuck in that spiral of negative thoughts, or we get so stuck in the limited beliefs that we have, and we're constantly just thinking in that spiral. And we're like, this is, but then to have that wisdom that that spiral is not the only reality, and that spiral is not the truth, it's just the mind making its own cobwebs, you know, and then to allow to really take that step of wanting to get out of that mental spiral and doing something about it with yourself, with your body, with your mind. That is I sorry, I lost the chain of my thought. That, what was the question again?
the question was essentially about feeling that sense of anxiety after recovering from COVID. Physically, I'm fine, but emotionally and mentally, I still feel scared of, what might could have happened? Like what could have happened?
Yeah, that okay. It's related to COVID.
Post-COVID anxiety, essentially, the body is fine,
Okay,
but the
okay.
emotions are still not in place.
Got it, got it, got it, got it. So that is very normal again. I mean, I had COVID and it was a very emotionally unsettling period for me as well. But as I said, yoga and meditation, meditating every day and keeping my body a little active with a few asanas and all of that really helped me through my anxiety or my emotional stress. But apart from that, we also have to remember to just give ourselves and our bodies a little time. Our body has gone through this major fever. It's a strong fever, the cough is strong, the chest has been really in a lot of pressure because of COVID. So the body has taken a big setback. And then to just allow ourselves to get out of it slowly, one day at a time, and really being with yourself, going for little walks, little bit of self-care after COVID, eating well and sleeping on time, getting enough sleep, just getting, all of those little things really matter, huh? I feel even to keep anxiety at bay, it's these smaller habits also that will make a lot of difference.
Absolutely. It is so. I mean, I'm sorry. I just got to know that you had COVID, but when somebody is going through it, I feel there's a sense of isolation because obviously you cannot interact with people. And even though this question has been asked from our users, what would you suggest they do while they are actually facing COVID? They cannot really interact with people. They cannot meet anybody, and body is physically very weak at that point of time. So what do you suggest
Yeah.
people do? I mean, if anybody's listening who wants to tell it to their friends, colleagues, it would be really helpful.
Yeah, so I would highly recommend meditating 3 times a day when you're in isolation
Right.
because the mind is so active for a human body, for a human being, our minds are so active, and especially when you're forced to be locked down in a room or in a hospital ward or wherever you're isolated and wherever you're healing yourself out of COVID, that time is so lonely that the only way to really combat that loneliness and the feelings of whatever the emotions are, the only way to combat is to allow the mind to become still for a few minutes every day, again and again, as much as we can. And then between so then one of course is that you meditate 3 times a day. You wake if you have, for example, you have COVID, you're weak. There is no way of stepping out or anything. You're inside the room. You can, some people, I don't know if, a shower really sometimes helps me. So taking a nice warm shower, coming back to the bed. And I used to just be on my bed, relax, go to my meditation cushion, do a meditation, come back, lie down, just be with myself, do long shavasanas, lie down on a yoga mat and just like really relax on your yoga mat and listening to guided meditations. Well, the other thing that really helps is to listen to discourses. So if you have a guru or you follow someone spiritually, then to listen to what they have to say really helps.
These are some very useful tips. I really hope, people who are listening today, if they, God forbid, need it in their life or somebody, their loved ones need it, these are excellent tips. And we will share these again as well so that they're accessible to people. Uh, okay. Harish wants to know the questions: how to maintain consistent performance with yoga and meditation. Basically, how to be disciplined, how to be consistent with it.
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
Harish wants to know how to maintain consistent performance with yoga and meditation.
Okay, so performance, I don't think would be the right word to use. I guess a consistent practice is what probably means.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because yeah, so I think it's a bigger question. It's actually a very it's not a very simple question, because here it's not about consistency. It's about what do we really want in our lives. That's the bigger question to ask, because if something else is your priority and your own path and your own inner journey and your self discovery, your self exploration, and your path to self reliance, if all of that is not your priority, then what is? So then your energy is going into that. So then I think it will be nice to journal thoughts down for him to understand what does he really want from his life. Does if he wants money, then he can channel all of that energy towards money, and that meditation can have a really small part to play in his life, and then everything is moving externally for him. But then that's tricky, because if you are moving so externally into money, fame, or whatever that is, running something, giving all your time to your family, if those are your priorities, totally external, they will burn us out at some point. And you will be like, oh my God, like I tried so much, but it's still not working, because there is not enough time being spent internally or going in. That inward journey or that inward path is important. You get that. I think it's the wisdom that comes to you, where you're like, okay,
Right.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So I was saying that it's the wisdom that one it has to dawn over a seeker, when they realize that uh, I need this internal time. This is important for me. And so once you have that wisdom, then it's not a question. Then it's just consistency is not a question after that. Then it's just as you eat food and as you brush teeth is how you do your dhyan and how you do your meditate, your yoga or your spiritual practice. And it's just a part of you after that.
Yeah, I guess it's about how you develop a habit. Good habits, bad habits, they all take
Yeah, but
time.
I also feel like the developing habits, people get lazy, right? They're like, yeah, we want to do it, but we're not able to do it because we don't have time. We were doing this, we were doing that. So excuses start coming and all of that. That's why I said, here the bigger question needs to be asked. What is it that you want in your life? Why is this not? Why is this not? Why is it a consistency problem for us? Why can't I come to my meditation cushion every day without having to force myself? I should want to spend that time with myself. I should want to go internally into myself, and whatever that experience of meditation is, or whatever the experience of yoga is, I want to be able, I want to experience it. It needs to really be a sure truth in you. Otherwise, then it will always be a struggle to develop that habit.
So I guess it all starts from within. It all starts from a thought. Like your thought should be in the right place, and that's from where everything begins. So I hope it helps you, Harish. I think it's as Diksha said, the bigger question is why do you want this? What does it really mean to you? So it's kind of related to what you said right now, Diksha. Bhavna wants to know. I think it's about habit to an extent. She's asking what yogasanas or practices should be practiced for a novice in progression for say 2 or 3 months to establish breath awareness.
What practices?
Like essentially how to what kind of yoga asanas will help you understand breath, like understand breath awareness.
Yeah, pranayam and yoga.
Related to that is another question. Is yoga as important as pranayam, or just pranayam will do, as I don't have enough time for practicing both? You just said it, like, it's all a thought. So, can we just talk about this a bit?
Yeah, so if you feel like you don't have enough time in the day to do both yoga and pranayama, then alternate day, do one day can be yoga, one day can be pranayama, one day can be meditation. You can like do a little bit every day is also a good idea. Then then just avoiding one thing completely. Because I feel if you can do some yoga asanas is not a bad idea. Little bit. I'm not saying to do advanced things and balance yourself on one hand and all, but a little bit yoga to keep your spine healthy, to keep your hips open, to to become aware of your breath. Yoga is good. So breath awareness can come with yoga asanas also. Breath awareness can come with pranayama also, and breath awareness can come with meditation also, and chanting also, or any kind of breathing one does. So giving a little bit to each of it is not a bad idea. However, if you feel I don't want to put my hand into too many things, I just want to do one thing that will help me improve my breath awareness, then it will be then you can just do your pranayama, and that is, I guess, enough. I guess, I mean, it really depends on where you are in your life. If that much, if just doing pranayama is enough for you, at some point you also have to move on to doing some meditation with your pranayama, and then going deeper into your meditation after the pranayama. All that is also important.
I guess the right, I mean, if we start with pranayam, what we can do is then continue with your meditations also. Maybe like if you can't do them every way, try to, as Diksha said, do a combination. Do chanting one day, try to do meditation for a few minutes the next day. Practice your pranayam, practice your asanas. It's slowly it will start developing into a habit.
Yeah.
You were talking about, again, I'm coming back to the whole, coming from a bad situation and moving here. Samira is saying that how can the practice of yoga help with mental health? And again, how many times a week shall we practice yoga to see any improvement?
How many times a
Week should we
week?
practice? Yeah.
I think 3 times a week is ideal. 3 times a week is enough to begin with, and then if you really get you want to dwell, you want to dive deeper into the practice, then it can become 4 times a week also. But I think 3 times a week is good.
Okay. And she also wants to know what impact, like, how can it help in mental health? How does it help?
Yoga.
Yeah.
So what yoga does, so in my case, the way yoga is what actually the only thing that got me out of like in a bad state of mental health. Meaning it got me out completely. It really healed a lot of my mental health. So how it does is that when you start moving your body in these postures, which are, you're bending your back, you're doing things to your spine, you're doing things to your hips, different joints, different muscles. You're becoming so aware of your body suddenly that your awareness is moving into these new regions in your body that you suddenly realize so much about it. You suddenly start noticing that you're breathing very the way you're breathing. If it's tense, you can see the tension in your breath. You start observing so much about your body that it starts telling you so much, and it also starts releasing a lot of stress that you were holding from before that you didn't even know existed in your body. So, so when uh, so when I started doing yoga and I started becoming so aware of my body, my breath, something just automatically started to change in my mind also. I started smiling more. I was laughing more. I was not sulking in the room. I would go out and like be with my batchmates in the training, spend time with them, and I was just naturally my body started feeling good after the yoga, so my mind also started feeling good after yoga. And apart from that mental health, I'll tell you what else. Yeah, it got me a little sense of a little wisdom of discipline in my life. Yoga. because I wanted to do yoga, so I knew that I have to get up in the morning. I can't be waking up at 10 and 11 and then starting my day. So because I knew I wanted to do yoga, I would get up early and do my practice. And that, as I said earlier in the discussion also, that it really gave me it set the mood for the rest of my day. So because of yoga, I was elevated. My quality of days also started becoming better and different. And that helped me get out of a depressive sadness state of mind.
That is, I really hope it helps people because you know what happens? They associate yoga with so much the physical part of it that they actually forget that it has a lot of emotional and spiritual benefits as well. So I think hearing about your personal story is going to inspire a lot of people to start looking at yoga in a completely different light.
Yeah. And sorry, can I add one more point to
Of
this?
course,
That
of course.
the other way yoga really helped my mental health was that it gave me a sense of self-love, which I didn't have at all. My self-esteem was so low that I thought that I don't deserve love. And so like I was not worthy of anything or whatever, you feel very low about yourself. But when I started doing yoga, I gained a sense of confidence about my posture, my body, the things I could do with my body. And so when all of that started happening, I started respecting my body more. You know, does that make sense?
Of course, I completely understand where you're coming from and what you're trying to say. It's self-acceptance and self-love. I think we don't give
Yes.
that much attention as
Yeah, and I think that is really the root of all problems, That is really the root of all the questions, is basically the sum total of all these questions asked today is self-love, because you have to want yourself to want to do something with it. If consistency is a problem, then I don't want myself enough. I don't admire or love myself enough to want that for myself. If starting a practice is a problem, then I'm not loving myself enough. I mean, that's where I guess that is where it is. And then everybody's intensities of self-love are also different. So, and it is always going to be a journey into self-love, right?
somebody is actually messaged on the side. I think, Tara, your question has been answered by Sunil already. But Diksha, there's a question for you. What to do when the mind does not follow the instructions of a guided meditation? I think we have time for one more question. So, should I repeat the question?
I think no, yeah. So if you're not able to follow what the guided meditation is saying, then there is more surrender that needs to come in the mind. That the mind is being so rigid in that moment that it doesn't want to receive the meditation.
And
And so just surrendering. Sorry?
so I think that is one thing that a lot of people actually struggle with. The resistance is very strong. They find it very difficult to surrender when somebody else is guiding them to do something which is probably good for them. So, what do you think is the first step? How do you get past that resistance and start following the instructions?
I think the way to get past this rigidity of the mind where it doesn't want to surrender is to just ask ourselves, I mean, what is the worst that can happen? It's a guided meditation. Nothing bad can come out of it. Even if I just follow the person, yes, I don't know how the person is. Meaning if they're really if they are their practice is strong enough that I should be guided by them, and that is your thought. Or if or you don't know how to surrender, I'm like, what is the worst that can happen? Nothing. You can just like follow the person, see where it takes you. It might take you to a better place. It might not take you anywhere. If it doesn't take you anywhere, then you try somebody else's meditation, or you try some you go to a guru, or you go to an ashram and learn how to meditate. There are different ways you can figure, but there is no harm in just listening to what the person has to say and just allowing it through your body and your mind and see where it takes you.
I guess you need to just follow the master.
Yeah, I guess you just need to open up a little bit and just open it, open yourself, see where it takes you. If it doesn't take you anywhere, next time don't do it. I definitely feel we as humans can be a lot more receptive than we already are. And I'm talking about all of us, including me. We all can be more receptive to life.
Absolutely. I think we just need
No?
We lost you again, Diksha.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so yeah, just being, I would, if I was in a situation like that, I would give the chance and be like, okay, let's see where it takes me. And just receiving, receiving it's a blocked attribute in us because we don't want to receive. I guess because there is fear, there is resistance, there's rigidity in that receiving, and then just unless we don't choose to allow, there is nobody, we can't do anything. We can bring the horse to the well, but the horse has to drink the water.
Definitely. So, what we're going to do is, Diksha, I think that was the last question. But do we have time for one more?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the final question that we'll take. It is essentially about pranayam. Um, J- Satish, yes. Satish is asking how to practice pranayam because different people show different forms of breathing exercises. Is there a correct way?
No, they're not. Then nothing is wrong. Every teacher, everybody is different schools of yoga. So there may be variations and slight differences in the way they show pranayam, but more or less they're all safe to do. You can do them, and if it's a certified teacher or an instructor who has learned these pranayams from a reputed institute, then there is really no problem with that. Little bit variations here and there is always a thing, which is not an issue at all. And I would say not to, dabble in too many things. Just stick to one teacher, one lineage, one style, and really just work with that for a while.
Thank you so much, Diksha. I think a lot of questions got answered today. I would again thank you so much. I know there was a major internet issue there today, but you managed to make this happen and make it happen so beautifully. Yes, Satni is also saying thank you for a lovely session.
Thank you for having me. It was actually fun. I really enjoyed for me, like to see you, to talk to all of you. I feel like, yeah, there's a lovely sense of community that you guys have built, which is so cool. And I'm so proud of you for doing this.
So, what we can do is, and I'm saying it to all our users who have logged in today, we might just plan another session where we'll try to get better connectivity so that people can see you also. I mean, we just got to see you right at the beginning, and after that, we've just seen your name written there. And let everyone know about this, the next session. For now, join us tomorrow at 10:30 again. We have Nishta Bijlani talking about how to overcome COVID anxiety, physical as well as emotional, using yoga. And the session is scheduled for 10:30 a.m. Links will be emailed to you. If not, if you do not receive them for any reason, please write to us at support@thinkrightme.com, thinkrightme.com, and help you get connected tomorrow. Thanks, Diksha.
Thank you. See you guys. Lovely meeting all. Lovely just having all of you together in this presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you.